Hello and good afternoon, everyone. The Student Government Association would like to present to you our Black History Month event entitled Executing Visions for the Future. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Hello and good afternoon to everyone. And now, without further ado, on behalf of the Student Government Association, I will be presenting to you the Black History Month presentation. We're going to begin. My name is Tameka Ridley, and I will be a special guest host for this evening. I am the author of A Rose in a Dark Place, and I am also a senator here at Lehman College. On behalf of the Student Government Association, we would like to thank, first and foremost, the president of Lehman College, Mr. Daniel Lemons. We'd also like to thank all of the faculty, students, and alumni. We also want to give a special thanks to all of the guest speakers we have here for this event. And I will introduce all of you to those people once we go on to the next segment, which is our video of the Black National Anthem.
We go to Arrowhead now for Lift Every Voice and Sing as it's played in the stadium.
At the dawn of the 20th century, America was a country full of promise and hope for many. Black Americans faced a different reality, a nation separate and unequal. Yet their hope persisted. Pained by inequality, but inspired by resilience, writer and civil rights activist James Weldon Johnson put pen to paper. His words would become a unifying call, a hope for a brighter tomorrow, a timeless exhortation to lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing a rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory.
There are forces that want to take us back to another place. We don't want to go back. We want to go forward.
Enjoyed that video of Alicia Keys singing the Black National Anthem. I know I really enjoyed it. It's so powerful and her voice is just so absolutely beautiful. But now we're going to move on to our introduction, and I'll be introducing the Executing Visions for the Future idea. And so, as you know, it's Black History Month, and what better way than to celebrate Black lives than by empowering students here at Lehman to execute their visions for the future. Many students face so much uncertainty in their futures due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, while others face financial hardship. In addition to fighting discrimination due to race, it's so essential more now than ever to help students overcome these challenges by providing tools to strengthen their development. And this is where a plan comes in. You may be asking yourself right now, why is developing a plan so important? And it's because Black history has shown that many African American leaders develop plans to help overcome adversity. In fact, developing a plan can help guide you to prioritize what is most important in your life. With that being said, I'm going to introduce our featured speaker for this event, Akosua Ntachi, the author of Dear Nice Girl, the Honorable Lawrence Fauntleroy, Lehman College's Alumni Board President, and a graduate student and Lehman alumni, Jonathan Ubi. Our three speakers, let me go back. That's going to be Akosua Ntachi, author of Dear Nice Girl, Lawrence Fauntleroy, Lehman College Alumni Board President, and Jonathan Ubi, who is a Lehman alumni and graduate student here. And again, these are the questions to ask yourself. What is your educational background and area of study? What are your academic and professional goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And have you established a plan for your future?
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, you can cut me with your lies, you can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
So some ways you can develop a plan. Here are some tips. Figure out what areas of your life you want to change, whether that be your career or your school or different portions of your life. Developing a plan doesn't necessarily just have to be about career development. It can be about developing as a person, just you personally. On top of that, prepare yourself mentally with an education. Number 3, know your worth. The skills and the tools that you get out of life, out of going to school, and out of different programs and workshops you take part of here at the university, Those things are valuable. So know your worth when you go into the career place with these tools. Also, write out a strategic plan. When you develop a plan, you can come to different mentors that they have here at the university that can assist you. Also, do your research. That is so important. You need to do your research in order to develop a plan. Also, embrace and explore opportunities. There's so many different learning opportunities here at Lehman College. Check your emails. Deidre Constant also sends so many different emails for different internship opportunities and community service. Take advantage of those things. And lastly, builds a support system. I can't explain to you enough how important it is to build a really, really good support system. And now, if that wasn't enough motivation, I have a motivational video for you. And this should definitely inspire you to develop a plan.
Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. What's the plan? Your plan has got to be clear, concise, compelling, consistent, and committed. You've got to have a plan.
Don't go to bed without a plan of how you're going to handle the next day.
You have to work at it every day. You have to plan.
Productivity is never accident. I want you to understand that it's not going to happen by luck.
Success is cause and effect, not magic luck or magic fairy dust. Success is easy. It's making a plan and executing the plan every day. Make a plan, work the plan. Make a plan, work the plan. And whenever the plan doesn't work, you change the plan. That's called failure. It's called learning a lesson. It's called adjusting. If you do the work and you do it for a long enough time, you will be successful, period.
Whatever it is you're bold enough to dream, if you are intentional and deliberate about it, every single day, if you do a little, you're going to wake up one day and your dreams are going to be a reality.
Okay, and now I'm going to read an excerpt from A Rose in a Dark Place. This is just to inspire you before I go ahead and introduce the next speaker, okay? So this poem is entitled You. Brighter than the stars at night, your elevation illuminates God's light. Beneath your curves of melanin blessings, a priceless masterpiece far beyond impressive. Your beauty is more than the color of your skin. Through your anointing, I find peace within. With that being said, I introduce to you the one, the only Akosua Ntachi. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you for having me, Tameka. Hi, everyone. My name is Akosua Ntachi. As Tameka said, I'm going to start off with life after college and basically transitioning into where I am now, which is entrepreneurship. I own a business. I'm Akosua LLC, and I now help other entrepreneurs publish their books as well. And I'll be reading a couple of poems from you from my book, That Took a Crown to Me, to honor Black History Month and Black Lives Matter. So yes, after graduation, I went to a liberal arts college. I got an English degree with an emphasis in creative writing. And when I got home, I didn't have a job set up, and it was really difficult for me to find a job. Luckily for me, I was a part of an organization called the Harlem Children's Zone, and I was able to get an internship there. I was able to, reach out to my mentors and get some temp opportunities. And then I kind of was, and intertwined into the temp agency and the staffing agency world. And so I was temping for like a year before I found a permanent job as an office administrator. And then maybe, I was working there for a while. I got married, moved in, and then my husband and I find out I'm pregnant. And then a few months later, I get fired. while I'm pregnant. And it was devastating, of course. And I had no idea what I was about to do. My husband was like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. But in the back of my mind, something was telling me, okay, this is the right time to write a book. So that's what I did. And I already had a senior thesis project. It was a collection of poems. So I dusted it off and I started working at it. And I was actually telling Tameka this. There are poems in my book, in this book, that were written at Lehman College. So there was a point where I started to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the family library that they offer at Lehman College. You pay $50 and you get to go there and access the library for a whole year. So I did that, and I would go there and I would work on my poetry. I would work on my writing, and I would see, I see the college students, I'd see the grad students, and I'm pregnant and I'm working on my poetry, working on my book. And I even got invited to a Christian group while I was chilling on campus one day. But I really did fall in love with the campus, and it was just, a space for me to escape and work on my writing. And I had the tools using that resource, which was really, really cool. And it's like we, come full circle here today. But yes, once I got fired, I published my book, and it opened me up in a way that I couldn't even imagine or, predict. But I started to connect with a lot of different people. And then I started to, get inquiries like, hey, do you edit? And I'm like, yes, I edit. And I was doing resumes, cover letters, personal statements, grant proposals, and different manuscripts. So I got my first client, right? And we all know that feeling. I got my first client. It was a poetry manuscript. And from there on, I was getting recommended, and my business just started to grow. And I started to, become serious as a businesswoman and, rebuild myself again. I lost a lot of confidence in myself when I got fired when I was pregnant. And so this, helped me pull myself together again, see purpose in my life, value in my life. And now, I've helped over 15 people edit and publish their books. So yeah, that's a little bit about where I am today. Hopefully I answered everything, Tameka. I don't know if I missed anything. Okay. Oh, I can't hear you, Tameka. You're on mute.
You did great. I really, really appreciate that. I thank you so much for sharing your personal story, about how, you were on one path to go one way, and then spur of the moment, something changed and you just adapted. The tools that you learned, sometimes you think, yeah, I'm just gonna, I'm going this way, but then all of a sudden something unforeseen happens and it just throws you a loop. But it didn't discourage you. It actually elevated you. And now you're at a different point in your life where something incredible is happening. You're CEO and founder of your own publishing company. You have a number of books that you've completed, along with multitasking that with motherhood. And that is amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
I would love to share some poems, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Go ahead. We're ready.
All right, let's get into it. All right, so let me make sure I'm at the right place. Okay. All right, this first poem that I'm going to read is titled Women Do Riot, and it's after Ana Castillo's Women Don't Riot. Women do riot in fabricas in Ethiopia, Mexico, and Indonesia, at sweatshops in New York and New Jersey. Women do revolt against small wages and unequal pay, in kitchens, in jeans, in two-piece suits. By the hundreds and thousands, women do riot with passion and anger, high and strung out, with tight dresses and 5-inch heels. Women riot in college meetings, join their unfisted, cramped up fingers in hard times, make and carry signs with the weight of a 15-page paper due the next day. Women do riot. In prisons, on welfare, against their attacker, against their attackers. Every last one, sooner or later, riots. We riot. On TV, on the internet, from this day to the next and the next, me, my daughter, and your daughter too. Women riot in Kenya, stretching arm in arm alongside other women in Australia and across continents, loud in their tongues, unified in abandonment, broken hearts, womanhood, motherhood, women riot. All right. Now this next poem is after Lauren Allen's The Hoodie Stands Witness, and she wrote that poem for Trayvon Martin, and I wanted to emulate that. And this is dedicated to Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, Mary Spears, Trayvon Martin, Betty Skinner, Eric Garner, Carol Robinson, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and the list can go on and on. We'll be here all day. All right. Candlelight Vigil. These nights, the wind is still as I lay on concrete, put there by a mourning family member, a lover, a friend. Bodies pass up and down MLK Avenue. I'm read among other flaming friends. Our numbers increase. We almost illuminate the whole block. At night, we pierce the sky with light brighter than stars. A candle for a body, a lost friend, a lover, a son, a daughter. We melt to the bottom and stick to the ground, making ghost faces until our wax burns out. All right, and then I'm gonna finish it off with my very last poem. And this one is titled Back to Kukrentumi. Kukrentumi is where I was born, and that's where my family lineage is in Ghana, West Africa. Back to Kukrentumi. I want to go back to Kukrentumi. Back when I was in diapers, naked in the flesh, not a care in the world. Back when I didn't know what skinny or fat was. Back when my waist beads hid under my shirt and jeans and shaking my thighs and hips was a celebration, not for attention, without a camera lens, just my body and I, my body and no other eyes. I want to go back to Kukrentumi, back when I did not care about makeup. Now I wake up to make up a full face. First, liquid foundation. Layer after layer, I build it up. Then I conceal any imperfections until I'm perfect. I flash my Maybelline lashes when I lie. I want to go back to the days when I did not lie, and it was only true that I told the truth. I hope I still recognize me. I want to go back to trusting my intuition, back when trusting my intuition meant thinking freely. Back when thinking freely was free, but now it's in my tuition. Liberal is what we call it now. A learned, cultivated woman I am, but still a girl learning to love and stare at the rose on her neck that takes her back to Kukrentumi. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Costa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tameka.
Okay. And now, hold on. Okay. And now I'm going to recite a quote from Barack Obama. In the face of impossible odds, people who love their country can change it. That being said, I am getting ready to introduce to you someone who has been making amazing strides towards the betterment of Lehman College students. A student, a graduate student himself, and Lehman College alumni, I present to you all the one and the only Jonathan Ubi.
Hi, thank you, Tameka. How is everyone doing today?
Great.
My name is Jonathan Ubi. I am currently a graduate student pursuing my master's in organizational leadership. I am also the program coordinator in Campus Information Services in Office of Campus Life, which is a fancy way of saying I provide support for the office staff and manage the student staff. Through there, I also facilitate a 5-week workshop titled Innovation and Entrepreneurship, through which I launched my own company called 13 Beeswax. Previously, I founded an art publication in Orlando, Florida, with over $70,000 in advertising revenue in our first year. When I moved to New York, I managed a restaurant in the Upper West Side before becoming involved in Lehman College. Today's theme is about executing visions for the future. And with that topic in mind, I want to talk about luck. And begin by saying I've always been a very lucky man, insofar as I've always landed in situations and positions that I was able to navigate through with my learned experiences and with long-term vision in mind. Now, we've all heard one version or another of the phrase, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I'll use 3 examples to help visualize that phrase. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The punchline for all 3 examples is exactly the same. The first one, I walk into an art gallery and introduce myself. The second one, I walk into a museum, I announce myself. I'm taken into the director of marketing's office and introduce myself. And the third one, I walk into the student life building and have one of my peers introduce me. What results in all 3 is what I consider luck, a series of moments and opportunities that culminate into luck. Now, if the punchline is opportunity, we'll label the setup for all 3 preparation. Let's begin with the first example. I walk into the art gallery and introduce myself. We rewind a few years in Orlando, Florida. I'm riding my motorcycle home after a night working as a food runner in an upscale Southern cuisine restaurant. I'm wearing my dress shoes, my black dress pants, and a button-down white shirt. I'm riding home. I live in a working class neighborhood. As a matter of fact, a couple blocks away, there's a Warlocks MC clubhouse. It's a 1%er clubhouse, if you're not familiar with the Warlocks. As I near my house, I see a light beacon in the sky coming from a few blocks away. Any of us familiar with literary devices would know this is classified as a call to adventure. Of course, I think to myself, who am I not to advance this narrative? I head to the light. It's a brand new art gallery, their opening night, but it's in the wrong part of town, I think. This is it though. This is my opportunity. I walk in the next day and meet the owner. He happens to be a Colombian immigrant, and he offers me a job as the marketing manager for the infant gallery. This was luck. But that luck was only possible because I was currently enrolled in the University of Central Florida, working towards my BFA in studio art with a minor in marketing. That's the preparation. That through this opportunity, I was able to build relationships with artists, collectors, and people in the arts industries. More preparation led to my next opportunity, and then to more luck, and more preparation, and more opportunity, and more luck, and on it went. I won't go into detail with the other 2 examples, but will instead summarize. Plan for your future, set goals, and prepare. Because despite how much strategic planning and goal setting you initiate, you must account for the unaccountable. And when those moments arrive, the unforeseen moments, you must fully embrace and exploit them, and you need to be prepared. Whether it's developing your leadership skills by leading your church youth group, whether it's by taking time to involve yourself in that internship you've eyed though thought it's too stringent with its requirements, or simply by going to your professor's office hours and developing a professional relationship. Put yourself in situations where the luck you encounter can be harnessed. Thank you.
That was a very beautiful message. I really, really love that. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for all the work that you do at Lehman College, all the work that you do for the community outside of Lehman College. The art that you do, the work that you do is an art in itself. And I appreciate you taking the time out to come and speak to Lehman students as you do regularly, you know, to advise us and give us insight to different things. And I really, really appreciate that. And on behalf of the Student Government Association, we thank you for being here with us today. And now we're going to be moving on to the next speaker. But first, we're going to start out with a quote from the Honorable Nelson Mandela. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. And also, the time is always right to do what is right. And that is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. And without further ado, I am completely honored and pleased to announce to you our last speaker for this event, Mr. Lawrence Fauntleroy, the Lehman College Alumni Board President. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks a lot, Tameka. I really appreciate it. Thanks for that intro. As Tameka said, I'm Lawrence Fauntleroy, President of Lehman Alumni Association. It's great to be in your company. Tameka, great job in all your efforts, along with SGA in putting this together. Jonathan, thank you for all the amazing work you do at Student Life. Akosua, I think I'm saying that right, so forgive me because I'm always get names wrong, but pronunciations rather. Akosua, I'm so impressed with your books, and more importantly, with when any of us are ready to write a book, we now know the CEO of a publishing company. So Tameka and Akosua, let's catch up offline so I can buy some signed copies of your book. So that's I'm making that disclaimer. Last year, when I was elected alumni president, my first call to action was to get you involved. It was important that students, rather future alumni, were represented. So I had invited Jada to the board. And let me just tell you, Miss Quinlan has been an absolute champion for you. Her and I stay in brainstorming sessions all the time. We're actually gonna have one tomorrow morning. So what really interests me about this event was the actual theme, executing your vision for the future. And right now, that's not an easy thing to do. It really isn't. It's very likely that this year, like last year, will be underscored by COVID-19. We have seen entire industries change and some shut down for good. In our own community, small businesses have been left behind. But you know, there's this big difference between a problem and an inconvenience. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. Follow along with me. When you're on the 4 train and it crawls into every station, or if you miss your bus by a minute trying to get to work or to get to class, that's an inconvenience, right? You make some small adjustments, you tinker with your time management. But when an entire city shuts down with over 8 million people and your loved ones are sick or you lose them and everyone is quarantined and you and your family are stuck at home, but yet learning from a distance, when hugging somebody that you love and care about is actually the wrong thing to do, that's a problem. That's a future that can look a little bit fuzzy. And so for me, I just believe that the best way to affect your future is to be part of its innovation, right? So for all students, and especially first-year students, now is the time to create your plan. College is not this exercise in futility, but an exercise in your future. So what does your plan look like? What is your vision? What is your vision for the future? It can't just live on a whiteboard or on a bathroom mirror and lipstick. It has to breathe. It has to come alive. It has to be restless. And the best way to execute your plans is to stay, and this is my belief, in the proximity of your vision. Don't wait until your 115th credit. Now is the time to make your plan. Take advantage of Lehman's services like certifications and career services, internships, and mentoring initiatives. If you want to be a journalist, go find them. What's their lives look like on a day-to-day basis? How do they get stories right? How do they hold up in an information cycle that never sleeps? If you want to be a software engineer, then work on projects outside of class. Collaborate with other inspiring engineers outside of your traditional networks. Participate in every hackathon, even as a spectator. If you want to be an entrepreneur, go talk to entrepreneurs. Find out about having a shoestring budget, but with a wealth of curiosity and enthusiasm, and having affordable technology that carries them from day one to day two. One conversation can fundamentally change your life. It can inspire you into civic service, into teaching, or laying the groundwork into your own entrepreneurial aspirations. One conversation can alter what you care about, what communities you want to help be a part of, and keep you surrounded by high caliber people that continue to challenge your plan for the future, because if things don't challenge us, they don't change us. And I just want to pivot for a moment right here. I want to pivot in this moment. And what I want to steal a line from Abraham Lincoln the month before he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This is what he stood up to Congress and he said this. He said, "The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must not rise to the occasion, but rather rise with the occasion." And what that means today is we cannot respond to the future after it has happened. You have to execute your plan with your future in mind. And just in light of Black History Month, Martin Luther King would say, everyone has the power for greatness, not for fame, but greatness, because true greatness is determined by service. So at the end of the day, however successful your plan is not really a good plan if it only impacts you. It has to have a ripple effect on everybody else. So make sure you write that plan in pencil. Erase and erase and erase and erase and breathe more life into it, but don't give up on it. And as the alumni president, I'm gonna come looking for you, right? When graduation is over, I'm gonna come look for your talent. I'm gonna come look for your time. And sometimes I'm gonna look for a little bit of your treasure when you're making your careers. I'm gonna act so that we carry the next generation. And what's so interesting about this day when Tameka called me is this happens to be the day that Trayvon Martin lost his life. This just happens to be that same day. And also happens to be the birth of Black Lives Matter when that slogan was created. So it's really inspirational for me when she asked me to do this. So as your Lehman alumni president, I hope you have my contact information. If you don't, Tameka, please share it. And I'm just glad to be a part of this. And I really, really appreciate you guys giving me some time.
Thank you so much for gracing all of us and being here with us today and taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. We really appreciate you coming out to speak and educate and guide students to take a closer step in the right direction. And on behalf of the Student Government Association, I salute you and I thank you for your dedication to the college and the students, as well as alumni. Okay, and now I'm gonna go over a brief overview of this entire presentation. One, remember to create a plan, okay? Prioritize what is most important to you in that plan. Make decisions based on the priorities that you aligned in your plan, and move towards the life that you envision for yourself. And number 5, which is super important, no matter how successful you get, always, always be true to who you are. And with another quote from Harriet Tubman, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. And now at this time, if you have any questions or if you want to share anything important that you learned from this presentation in the chat, you may do so now. Let me see. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we talked about, or any questions particularly for any of the speakers? I'm just looking in the chat to see. Okay, I'm gonna read some of the comments. I do see that some people said this was great. It was a powerful event. Peter says, I felt inspired and I'm so happy that I made it. Thank you for that. I see hand claps. Also, Emily, thank you. She shared that this was so inspirational. Nana, I see you with the snaps. And I'm glad, Emily, that you shared that you're completely touched by everything that was said today. Zari says she's about to go and make plans for the future. Peter said that she learned to put herself out there and attend more events that align with what she wants to do, learn, and be. That's awesome. Okay, well, I have a question. I have a question for Akosua. Okay, one question that I have is, I know that you're an author. I wanted to know, are there any books that you would recommend to anyone that would inspire them in any way? We know you have, we know your 3 books, but any books that off the top of your head would you know, something that you would recommend for any students who may seem uncertain about what it is that, you know, they want to do, and just anything that could help them gain a little bit of clarity in their future, just any type of literature or book that you know of.
The first person that comes to my mind is Lucille Clifton, specifically her book, Good Women. I am a fan of poetry. That's my favorite genre. And she's everything. So I would recommend Good Women by Lucille Clifton.
Awesome. And of course, this question is going to go across the board. So next, I'm going to ask the same question to Jonathan Uby. Would there be any book that you would recommend to students that they should probably read to help them gain some clarity in developing a future plan? Jonathan, are you there?
I'm here. I was thinking about that. That's a great question. I was racing through some ideas I had as Akosa was speaking, but let's see. You know, I usually like to put myself in others' shoes and see how they dealt with situations and plans. And so what I usually do is I read biographies and try to think on how people dealt with the issues at hand. So for instance, right now, I read a book by Dorothy, what's her name? Here it is. I just finished reading this book called Leadership in Turbulent Times by Dorothy Kearns Goodwin. And it was talking about how leaders navigate difficult situations. So Lincoln during the Civil War, it's quite the topic. She also spoke on a few other leaders, but it's very important. Lyndon B. Johnson and Franklin FDR were 2 others that were in this book. And so what I would say is, to summarize, is biographies. That's what I would recommend. Read biographies of other people, important or people that aren't so important in the grand scheme of history. There's so much to learn from other people's stories. Any bit of information is always helpful. So that's what I would recommend, biographies on other people.
That's awesome. Awesome. And of course, I'm asking the same question to you, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence Leroy, what would you recommend?
I think like everybody, I'm an avid book reader. I don't think you can be a leader without being a reader, right? It's just impossible. You don't have to be a leader to be a reader, but you have to be a reader to be a leader. So for me, I think for this topic, I was looking through my library of stuff that I've been reading. There's a book by Ken Coleman. It's called The Proximity Principle. And I always thought it was great for if you just coming out of college. It just talks about, and I love the theory of just putting yourself in the proximity of the things that you want in your life, right? And I spoke a little bit about that. It's just like, you want to be something, go see how it happens, go see the mechanics of how it works. So I think that is a great book, especially if you're in college, you're getting out of college, whatever space you want to be. I thought that was great. I just finished, to Jonathan's point, I just finished Barack's 767-page autobiography of just first couple of years of his presidency. And what I love about it, the way he talks about the weight of leadership, the weight of making decisions. So if you want some summer reading after classes are over, you want to spend a month or so reading that book, I think that's a great book. So that's my two.
That's awesome. And I'm going to add another one into the mix. It's actually a two-part series. It's For the Hustler. It's a For the Hustler series. It's actually written by my brother, Tameka Cassaberry. And I recommended that one just because there are students who are facing financial uncertainty. A lot of students facing financial uncertainty. And what that book does is it breaks down financial literacy, like for the most amateur or most beginner type entrepreneur, or even if you're not even into entrepreneurship, if you just want to get your personal finances in order, which is extremely important, especially if you got to pay for college and pay for books and pay for different things. So that is just amazing. And then the second part series actually teaches you how to begin investing. So the first part teaches you how to, overcome financial hardship, and then start to establish some form of investments and it teaches you as an investor. So it gives you two types of perspectives in the second book. And so I would recommend that book also. Okay, and now we're going to move on to closing out. So on behalf of the entire Student Government Association here and all the members who are here today, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you, Nadine. Thank you guys for really being here and showing out and really putting together something great for everyone. We want to thank everyone who came and participated. Here's our contact information. And for all of you who made it in entirely through this entire presentation, I just wanted to share with you a video. I mean, all of you who made it through this presentation, we're so happy that you enjoyed it, and please feel free to leave additional comments or questions in the chat. I'm not rushing you all to leave. I'll be here if you want to ask more questions. In the meantime, we're going to end with this last video, which will also help you gain clarity on the future that lies before you, which should all be graduation, right? So without further ado, our last video with Tiana Taylor made it. Thank you again, everyone, for coming. I'm gonna go into the chat. I'll be here. If you guys have any questions or if you wanna add any additional comments, I'll stick around for a while, but we're at the end of our presentation. Thank you again to everyone who came out to support. Again, I want to thank all three of our guest speakers, the entire Student Government Association, and the president of Lehman College, all the faculty, staff, and everyone assisting to make Lehman College a better place and provide amazing resources and opportunities to our Lehman College students and alumni. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and have a great day. Yay.